to Sports Center. I'd intended to show you a Grizzlies highlight here, but they won, by the way. They were over 500, but they're in the news because, as Adrian Wojnarowski reported earlier, they're trading Andre Iguodala, former Finals MVP, to Miami. What's interesting is that the 36-year-old gets a 2-year deal, $30 million extension. He was obviously valuable in the playoffs last year. That's his time of year. And Woj joins us now because Miami, after making this move, is apparently not done. What else is cooking?
Well, Miami and Memphis are working to expand this deal to include Oklahoma City. What Pat Riley is trying to do tonight and get finished before the 3 p.m. deadline tomorrow, Andre Iguodala and Danilo Gallinari. Those talks are ongoing tonight. They may extend into the morning, but Pat Riley sees an opportunity with this Miami team, and he's putting together a group that could really compete at the very top of the Eastern Conference.
And what kind of cost are we thinking it could be to land Gallinari?
Well, Oklahoma City, they have a pick owed from them from Miami in 2023 that I'm told potentially, if they got the protections off and that became an unprotected pick, I think it's protected to number 14 right now for the lottery, that becomes a really valuable asset. And Sam Presti in Oklahoma City, he has been gathering draft picks for the next 10 years. 1 out of every 4 or 5 picks is going to be owned by Oklahoma City by the time this is over.
Meanwhile, by 2023, Pat Riley might have traded one beach in Florida for another one out in California. He wants to win right now. Let's see. We'll keep an eye out on your Twitter feed, Woj. Appreciate you. A look at some of the leaders on Wednesday. Trae Young's 38, most points of the night. Nikola Jokic having a monster game, a triple-double with over 20 rebounds. Full highlights from those games. Some great finishes in college basketball as well. We'll be bringing them all to you on SportsCenter. Tim Legler stopping by as well after the second half. Enjoy.
SportsCenter halftime is presented by Toyota. From strolling down the street to going off leash, fun runs in the family. Toyota, let's go places.
Firing Andre Iguodala, the former Finals MVP. In a trade, lead the Clippers by 3. The game of the night in Toronto. The Raptors looking for a franchise record 12th straight win. Of course, Kawhi is no longer there, and that is Serge Ibaka with the biggest scarf in the history of scarves. The Pacers hit 19 threes and had as much as a 19-point lead, but when Serge and his scarf, actually not wearing the scarf, hits the 3, it's an 11-0 run that gives the Raptors a 1-point lead. Late, Oladipo for another 3, no. Wild scramble, Oladipo's got it again. It's not fouled, evidently. Brogdon loses it. It just whistle swallowed. It's just a big old melee out there. And the Toronto Raptors have got a better record at this point than they had this time last year. Salute to Coach Nurse and the squad. They lead. They are 37, I should say, and 14. Kawhi, 8, 5, and 6, but it's the Heat by 3. More highlights on the way.
This halftime is presented by Toyota. Let's go places.
Thank you very much. Tatum and the Celtics, a big fourth quarter to break open a close game and win by 16. Game 2 of our doubleheader, as we've been talking about throughout the evening. Paul George and the Clippers. You see his numbers against Miami through his career. He's obviously spent a bunch of time in the East before moving over to the Western Conference with OKC, and now the Clippers taking on the Miami Heat. Miami Heat, as good as anybody at home. We always joke about Miami nightlife's undefeated. LA's not too bad either. You see Jimmy Butler coming off a season-high 38 against the suddenly reeling 76ers. Al Horford saying on Wednesday they're battling some stuff in their locker room, which they intend to keep internal. But by talking about it, you obviously bring a little bit more attention to that as Philadelphia is reeling a bit. Everybody in the East obviously is chasing Milwaukee, who's 43-7 through 50. And to that, Miami goes out and brings in a guy who's been on the big stage of the finals and been an MVP there. Andre Iguodala moving to Miami. Our Adrian Wojnarowski tells us not only that, but a 2-year extension worth $30 million, which is interesting for a 36-year-old. You go back to last season, Iguodala set career lows in terms of minutes, points, and usage rate in 68 regular season games. But as you would expect, when he got to his time of the year, most notably the postseason where he has thrived, more minutes, much better in those 21 postseason games. That's why you bring him down there if you are Miami. For more on tonight's matchup, Dave Pasch and Doris Burke.
Thanks very much. You look at Kawhi Leonard, Doris, and probably not going to win the MVP award because of the injury management. Played in 38 out of the 50 games, but he's had an MVP caliber season for the Clippers.
He set his career high in a number of different areas, in particular probably the passing. So against this particular team, Miami, his first career triple-double. Like most teams this season, Miami trapped him, and he absolutely sliced and diced them on his way to his first triple-double. He is a force.
A rare home loss for Miami against the Clippers. They've been terrific at home. They've been about 500 on the road. You look at their team, they've got undrafted players. Bam Adebayo is an all-star, but he was a mid-first-round pick. Jimmy Butler has been the guy all year that's been the driving force.
Talk about a match made in heaven in terms of competitive spirit and desire to work and the work habits necessary for success in this league. What a seamless fit for Jimmy in Miami. And you could say this is his best year. Look at the 3 different categories he has been at the top of his game.
2 of the top 5 teams in the NBA standings meeting tonight in Los Angeles, the Clippers and the Heat coming up.
Dave, Doris, look forward to that. It'd be great if we got one as good as this. The Pacers had a lead, a big lead at that, 19 at one point. It's a 2-point game, and it's the Pacers and the road whites. It might be confusing to some. Siakam with the steal, the layup there. It's a 2-point game. After a miss on the other end, Serge Ibaka, who arrived wearing the biggest scarf in the history of scarves, hits a 3. Looking for their 12th consecutive win. They go on an 11-0 scoring run. Last chance. Oladipo for 3. No. Oladipo gathers. Bit of a scramble. Brogdon. And the ball's turned over again, and that's an 11-0 run to close it out. Again, after trailing by as many as 19 in Toronto. With Kawhi obviously out west playing with the Clippers. What a season they're in the midst of having. 37-14. Which, if you want to lay it over side by side to last year, that's the most interesting thing. The job Nick Nurse and his team continue to do. Yeah, you lose Kawhi, but you're on a better pace than last season's NBA championship team. Obviously, you get to the playoffs, you're going to have to beat that team from Milwaukee, and it's going to be a little bit difficult, you'd think. However, it's the 6th team in the last 35 years to set a franchise record winning streak as the defending champs. 3 of the previous 5 did go on to repeat. Whatever they do the rest of the way, I think they've surprised a lot of folks through 50 and now 51 games. Warriors, we can safely say, will not be in the finals this year. They've had their fun. D'Angelo Russell, D'Lo back in Brooklyn, where he played obviously before last offseason. Joe Harris, one of the best three-point shooters on the planet, getting things warmed up. DeAndre Jordan with a punch down low. Karis LeVert, the triple, and in the fourth quarter, it's a blowout. LeVert, all 3 of these. All the way to 23 and an easy victory. And one other game has gone final in Detroit. 1-point game late. Andre Drummond in the paint gives the home team a 3-point lead. Tony Snell, give me that. Out in the passing lane, finishes. And then one more time, it's Drummond down low. Feed the big man. Good little bounce pass there. 31-19, they win by 8. Clippers, Heat, next. We'll see you at the half.
The NBA on ESPN is presented all season long by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And in part by the United Explorer card. Get rewarded for getting away.
Here's a look at some highlights around the league. Pacers and the road whites. That's Serge Ibaka. That's the Lenny Kravitz collection. I thought Lenny Kravitz had the most ridiculous scarf I've ever seen. That's Serge Ibaka trumping him. And this Pacer team was burying shots from 3. Justin Holiday with the first 2 you see here. Actually, let's make it the first 3. Corner 3 ball. Working lead in Victor Oladipo. Trying to end an 11-game winning streak, and they're 15 ahead on the road at the break. 63-48. D'Lo back in Brooklyn. Subject to a lot of a trade speculation. He says he's comfortable being uncomfortable. Golden State, they're down many. Joe Harris leading the way with 15 in the first half. He hits a 3. Wilson Chandler with a 3. DeAndre Jordan down low. Warriors not putting up a ton of resistance here. Karis LeVert with 3. Nets have a 68-47 halftime lead. We'll dive deeper into the East. Tim Legler on SportsCenter. Has the Iguodala trade sort of changed things up? And one big thing, Mookie on the move from Boston to L.A. Second half in Boston next.
SportsCenter halftime is presented by Toyota. From strolling down the street to going off leash, fun runs in the family. Toyota, let's go places.